There are 3 Jack Nicklaus designed golf courses in the state of Utah. One of them is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. It's on the outskirts of Heber City. Where's Wesley? Red Ledges. While we were here at Red Ledges, we were able to sit down with renowned golf instructor Jim McLean, head pro John Papour, and assistant BJ Staten to talk about the club. Jim, you have 8 of these golf instructional facilities around the country. Why here at Red Ledges?
Well, Tony Burns is one of the owners here, and I knew Tony very well down in Miami. I have my main golf school down in Miami. It used to be at Doral. We moved down to the Biltmore, but Tony Burns has been a great friend of mine and his wife, Joyce.
And so what kind of response have you got from having the instructional facility here?
Well, it's been great. This has really grown a lot. John Papour is running the golf facility, and he's the director of golf. But yeah, I met some really nice places, and this is one of the best. I love coming out here to Red Ledges.
Can people who don't belong to Red Ledges come up here and get instruction at your facility?
Yes, they can. We have, I think we have 5 instructors right now, plus John. So it's a busy place, and we've got this nice building in here and an unbelievable driving range out there.
So winter, summer instruction the whole time?
Yeah, you can do lessons right in here during the winter time.
You're probably most famous for the X Factor. Explain what that is and what that means.
Well, I wrote a book about the rotations and the movement of the body, how the body moves in the golf swing. It was really the first book that really looked at the differential between the shoulder turn and the hip turn. That's how they got the X, from looking above, that the shoulders outturn the hips. But then we talked about a lot of things, really pre-biomechanics. And now biomechanics uses the X Factor idea of gaining power in your golf swing and how to leverage your body to hit the ball further.
A golfer like me comes to you and says, what can you help me with? What are a couple of tips that you find the amateur golfers need the most?
Well, you know, everybody's a little bit different, but most golfers don't have a very good setup and don't put their hands on the club too well right at the beginning. So we go from a first things first basis in teaching. Most people, once they get into a swing, tend to come over the ball and slice the ball or pull the ball to the left. So there's some things that are not easy for most golfers to do to get the right sequence to hit the golf shot. But I try to use other sports, from even ping pong to tennis to throwing a ball to hitting a baseball, something like that, to help them get the feel of movement.
What kind of satisfaction do you get as an instructor when you see someone finally get the vision of what you're trying to teach?
Yeah, well, that's the whole purpose of us as instructors, is trying to convey an idea and then have it set in. So you have to have a lot of ways to say things, to demonstrate things, to show people how to make a move. And then when they shoot their best round of their life, break 80 or something like that, it's very satisfying for the teacher. And you know, I've had some top tour players win major championships, and that's great. You know, I mean, those are really fun, but I get a lot of satisfaction out of the people, the everyday person that I work with who really has a big smile on their face, and they're real happy with their game.
If you were to teach me, would you just look at me and go, yeah, maybe you should go see someone else?
No, I never do that. There's always hope for somebody. I'd love to have a chance to see what you do.
There's hope. There's hope. That's the key right there. All right, Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
10-year anniversary of this thing, and you've been here the entire time. How has it changed?
Well, when we first opened, we had 1 house on the property, and now we're at 375 and counting, either homes built or being built. And so to think of where we've come from, and Tony Burns and Nolan Archibald, the developers, they'll tell you they absolutely picked the worst time to open up a private residential community in 2009. But unforeseen, the downturn in the economy in 10, 11, 12, obviously they didn't see that coming, but to their credit, they hung in there, they stuck it in, and built what we have now.
What do you see in the next 10 years for Red Ledges?
Well, we're continuing to build amenities. We just opened up what we call the Village Center, which is a huge pool, big, huge water slide for the kids. It's right next to our par 3 course that we opened up 3 years ago. And so more and more things are being built. The next step is going to be a hillside restaurant up towards the higher parts of the property. And so just more and more stuff going on, more and more homes. We had to shut the door here because we heard the pounding of the rock. So that if that's a negative, if that's a frustrating part that you hear construction going on, then that's a negative. But it's a good thing because it's a sign of growth and more things to come.
Can you reserve me a table at that restaurant?
Yeah. I don't know when we're opening yet, so I can't promise when that'll be, but you get the first table.
I'll be waiting. Thanks,
All
John.
right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank you
Wes.
very much. BJ, how did you end up here at Red Ledges?
Great question, Wesley. In 2011, when I was fully exempt on tour, when I just moved here from Texas and met my wife and we got married, and I picked up the phone and I called John and said, I'm BJ Staten, I would love to come out and play, and he was extremely gracious. And from that point on, we developed a wonderful relationship, and all the guys here, all the guys on staff loved having me come out, and obviously got a chance to meet some of the members, and then I was given a membership here. And so I put Red Ledges on my staff bag below my name out on tour. And push comes to shove, when my wife and I sat down this off season and kind of decided that it was kind of maybe transition out of being gone so much, and as my boys get older, it's wonderful being home. So John and I sat down in December, and he said, we'd love to have you. We'd love to bring you on staff. I can make it work. And so it was a pretty easy decision for me. I mean, obviously not only John, but Derek, Nate, Tyler, JR, they're all wonderful guys, and it's a wonderful community here.
You grew up in Texas, played at the University of Houston in college, but your story of how you ended up here in Utah is awesome. Give us a brief version of that.
Yeah, I'll give you the shortened version. I happened to walk up on the 10th tee at Willow Creek at the Utah Championship in 2010, and my wife used to co-host a TV show on ABC called At Your Leisure, which I'm sure you've heard of. And she was just doing some outsourcing for the company. Long story short, I struck up a conversation. Of course, I had to keep going with my amateur partners. My caddy, Braden, turned to me about 4 holes later and said, boy, she sure was cute. And I said, yeah. So I got up the gumption to write my name down and my number down on a piece of paper. I ended up taking her to dinner the next evening in Park City. And for lack of a better term, Wesley, the rest is history.
People drive by here and see this facility and think, this is drop dead gorgeous. I mean, the scenery here is amazing.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's one of the main reasons why I took the job. I mean, the drive's a little bit of a hike for me. We live right above Willow Creek Country Club, but you get up here in the mountains, and it's such a laid-back feel, but you get the mountain feel at the same time. The membership is wonderful. Everybody's welcomed me with open arms. It's a beautiful place, and obviously it's extremely picturesque. So you get every aspect when you come out here and play this golf course. Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That's it for Where's Wesley? We'd like to thank Red Ledges for having us here today and for the opportunity to speak with Jim McLean, John Papour, and BJ Staten.